Hey everybody, this is Wild and Woolly Gaming coming to you live from Norless, center of everywhere, to bring to you today a totally unexpected video. And the reason why this video is unexpected is because I did not expect to get an 18 kill match, which was pretty darn cool, and then a 22 match just after. In consecutive matches, I got 40 kills in 2 matches. I don't know how many people have done that, but I'm sure it's a very small portion of the War Thunder community. I'm sure there's even a pretty decent portion of the War Thunder community that has never even gotten 10 kills in the match. It might not seem like it, but I'm sure that's actually a pretty decent subsection. Anyways, the reason why I'm making this video is it's not really to pat myself on the back, but it's to show you the tactics that I use, and I've explored this in other videos, but not quite to this extent. So when I'm focused, I feel like well, with anyone else, of course, anyone can speak for themselves. When you're focused, you're probably going to be doing your best, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. So if you notice, I have quick action, target acquisition. That's what these videos are all about. And, I've got a combat awareness tutorial, that I'll try to link in the description here, which really kind of shows these tactics that I'm using on a much smaller scale than what I'm doing in these videos. But also I've got just kind of my how to dogfight video, so on and so forth, and I'm combining all that right here. So what you'll notice, and I'll try not to narrate this entire video because there's one match in the beginning and the second match is my 22 kill match, so again, just stay tuned for all that. But what these two videos marry, that my previous videos may not have, is just the combination of target acquisition, right? And target acquisition is the difference, especially if you can do it quickly, it's the difference between getting 1 or maybe even 0 kills and 4 or more kills in any match with any plane at any given time. In this video, you'll see me, I think I got like 2 4 kills, like 2 4 multi-kills. Maybe it was in the same plane, one after the other. So you want to make sure that you're targeting planes correctly, and really you're diagnosing threats to your team and to yourself. So there's 2 different types of threats in this game. Again, it's to your team and to yourself. And to your team could be anything. It could be the bomber that's going to your base so that you lose the game. It could be the fighter that's chasing down your buddy who's in the bomber. It could be the fighter that's chasing down your friend who's attacking another fighter that's defending a bomber. It could be a whole host of things, but ultimately the simplest one is threats to yourself, and those are things that are actively shooting at you or trying to do away with you in one way, shape, or form. It could even be a bomber going over your base while you're landed for repairs, and you're just trying to again, repair, but he knows you're there, so he's dropping bombs and you're going to die. Either way, if you see with this ME410, and most people don't expect with an ME410 to be a competent dogfighter, I believe I'd gotten 8 or 9 kills in this instance right here with my 410. And ultimately, it's just quick targeting acquisition. So this PE410, if I'm not mistaken, does not get blown up, but I damage them pretty severely. I go for this. By this time, keep in mind, my plane is pretty damaged. Mangled would be a good word. So after you reach a certain amount of damage, you can almost kind of become a kamikaze. But rather than ramming a plane, and I do not recommend ramming planes at all, but rather than that, if you have the means to do so, just go for like whatever crazy target that you want. So something that will benefit you, or benefit your team, that you might otherwise not have gone for. So that's typically something reserved again for suicide missions in this game. But if you're about to die anyways, if you know it's going to happen, you may as well go for the big kahuna that you otherwise may not have, whether or not you were looking for self-preservation or, again, whatever the case may be. So I'll kind of cut the narration short here, just so you can watch my next few engagements in this match. But essentially, after the ME410 gets a little stale, I still do pretty well, and I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, what is that? I've got 12 kills thus far. I still have 6 kills by the end of this match, and that's awesome. The only issue is that, again, it slows down. However, my next match is significantly better. But before I cut the narration, I just want to show you something right here that kind of comes back later in my next fight at the end of this video. So as you see, and I didn't really show the entirety of it, but I'm looking around with my camera right when I spawn, and that's one of the ultimate forms of tactical awareness in this game, because you don't know if there's a spawn killer. You know, oftentimes there are people that hide around in bases, and we've all experienced it, and they're just looking for people who've just spawned, because Gaijin doesn't really give too much in the way of protection for just spawned aircraft. So by doing that, you reduce your incidence of being killed, and you increase your incidence of doing the killing. And it's not an everyday thing, but by checking a little bit here or there, you're really doing yourself and your team a big favor, because you could be the person that takes out the person that would have otherwise killed 3 or 4 members of your team. So again, I'm going to cut the narration here till the next fight, but just watch what I'm doing and kind of view how my words kind of how they're implemented into this match. Okay, so for my second video here, for my second match, this is the one where I got 22 kills. As you can see, with the TA-154, one of my favorite planes in the game, it's just a beast. Be on the lookout for my review video for it. It's the most comprehensive one that will be online anywhere, I promise. Anyways, what I'm doing is I'm going up in the sky, and it's not just for bomber hunting, because I know that this match should not really have any bombers. Of course, You have idiots who choose bombers and whatever. That's fine. You can do that. But what I'm doing while I went up in the sky was so that I could survey the land better. So if you have yourself tactical awareness above anyone else, you're doing yourself a huge favor, because at that point, tactical awareness leads to target acquisition. If you're not in the melee, if you're not forced to pick targets, whether because they're killing you or because they're killing your ally, it gives you a huge advantage, because you can more selectively pick your targets and really just save your team a lot of headache. And one thing, as I'm sure you probably see oftentimes, try not to start the match at sea level or ground level, because especially if you're in a fighter, you can stand to benefit so much from being in the clouds, especially if you have a relatively decent climb rate. Don't just dive down instantly. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Unless for whatever reason the entire enemy team is doing it. But even still, I would suggest going overhead and then diving down, so you can not only have that speed advantage, but you can have the advantage of attacking them from above them. So, and that's something that I did with that ME-264 right there. Now what I'm doing here is I'm targeting planes, and this is a great example. So I saw 3 planes there, and I figured to myself, which one is the biggest danger? I was going to jump into the middle, and I was just about to, but I decided not to, because ultimately, and this is what I'm doing here, this is an example of kind of that suicide thing. So I'm going for the white whale, which was the Catalina, because I know I'm not going to survive at this point. But anyways, what I was doing there, when you have the 3 planes, one in front of the other, all more or less evenly spaced for me to attack, I would have went into the middle. And the reason being is because I had fair enough, I guess you could say, intelligence, or fair enough belief that the P-47 in the back would have gotten killed before I had even inserted myself into the melee. Thus, I would have saved more of my team's lives. That didn't really happen the way I thought it would. The plane up front, or was it the plane in the middle? One of those 2 front planes did get destroyed first. So that's just kind of stuff like that. You have to be reflexive, and I still got a kill out of it. Anyways, with my BF-110, as mentioned before, most people don't really expect these to be incredible dogfighters, and they're not. But if you can take yourself with great target acquisition, all that you need is a split second on target, and you will get kills, I promise you. I'm getting kills all over the place with this. And this is what, 3.3 or 3.7 BR plane facing 4.6s, or 4.3s I mean to say. And albeit that's not a huge difference, but the amount of kills that I can get simply from this plane, because all I need is a split second of targeting time, really, just to take these planes out, to take out the enemy. And it's quite simple. Like, as you see there, it wasn't even a half second. It was probably like a quarter second to take out that plane. And as mentioned before, how you want to always look, we might have had a potential spawn camper here with that P-51, so I'm always looking to the left, to the right, up and down, to make sure that there's no one there, because my team is not killing this guy. As expected, I can't count on my team to do anything. Probably why I got 22 kills in this match, because my team just was not competent. We still lost the match, even though I was providing cover for everyone to land. But essentially, all grapes aside, essentially, you're going to want to make sure that whatever planes you have the correct amount of, I guess you could say, things to counteract whatever your negatives are. So with heavy fighters, you don't really have a ton of maneuverability. What do you do instead? Make sure that you're targeting your enemies accurately, because all that you're going to need is that split second of time to take out any single engine prop fighter in the game. And you really want to play to your strength. So if you're facing any Spitfires, for example, as I was in the last match with my ME-410, you're going to want to take out the Spitfires first, more likely than not. And this is with target prioritization. The reason being is because if you don't take out the Spitfire, they're going to get immediately on your tail and take you down, which makes it impossible for you to do anything else, any other miracles with the plane that you're flying. Now, if they are attacking your team, you're going to want to go, obviously, again, for that Spitfire, but try to go for the ones, if they're attacking your team, the ones that you feel would also be able to kill you. So right here, I went for the BF-110, and I don't know if you saw it or if it's even happened yet, but I could have went for a bomber. I decided not to go for the bomber, and the reason being is because the bomber posed no immediate threat to me. I was rewarded with kills by not going for the bomber. And also, I made it easier for my team to not die. Unfortunately, my team didn't really, take up, they didn't do much with that, again, because we lost. However, just the fact is that if you split off from whatever your main target might be, right? So this is a heavy fighter / interceptor, it's supposed to go for bombers. The fact that I split off from that doesn't really mean that I'm not going to be successful. Make your decisions independently of what your role is. Of course, if you're in a B-29, you can't be a fighter, but make sure that you do whatever is most befitting for the situation at that point in time. So, kind of the last, I guess you could say, the final act here is in my Focke-Wulf 190, and essentially I kind of bring it all together. I get 5 kills in about the space of a minute or so, and it's just through quick target acquisition and making sure that I'm picking the best enemy. He's coming at me at the right angle, right speed, and just making sure that it's not going to be like a false positive or they juke me or whatever the case may be. So either way, just watch the rest of this. It's only a few more seconds, and this is Wild and Woolly Gaming. I know this is kind of an improvised video, but I really genuinely appreciate you watching it. Remember, like, comment, subscribe if you got through the entire video. Again, it means a ton to me, and catch you guys in the sky. Take care, everybody.